Welcome to the Unstuck Yourself Daily Dose with Brittany Bigley. The Unstuck Yourself Daily Dose is part of the Live Bigley community, giving you the resources and knowledge to help you live the life you were born to lead. Hello, I am Brittany Bigley and I'm coming to you with the Unstuck Yourself Daily Dose, and today I wanted to jump on and talk to you about emotional non-attachment and how emotional non-attachment really does help us manifest the things that we want in our life. And the reason I got on this topic is because I had a conversation with a coworker and he was just like, you seem like you just have this really carefree attitude and you say that you're not spending hours on paperwork like you used to. What changed? What's the difference? And I made a little joke and I was like, well, I just don't care anymore. And I wouldn't say that's necessarily the case. I do care. I do want to do a good job, but there's not an emotional attachment that I once had to getting the paperwork done. And when I did have an emotional attachment, and so actually what I want to do is I want to go into what is an emotional attachment. And so really an emotional attachment is that stuck that you have regarding the paperwork. So for me, it was, if this paperwork isn't done correctly or if it's not perfect, then it's going to reflect on me. And it means that I'm not correct or I'm not perfect. And again, really, what is perfect? It's non-existent, but it's this stuck that would show up for me in my work, and it would show up regularly. It would prevent me from getting paperwork done because I would procrastinate and put off doing it until I absolutely had to do it last minute, which then created more anxiety for myself. But really, once I started to look at and reprocess my stuck, my beliefs around what that paperwork means to me and it being perfect and making sure that it's correct and really how that reflects on me and what it means about me. Once I started to do that my stuck no longer had any hold on me. I actually started to reprocess that belief around it. I no longer believe that doing the paperwork or making the lesson plans or how I perform as a teacher has any reflection on who I am at my core essence. And so it's really, I've taken this stance of emotional non-attachment to getting paperwork done. And it doesn't take me quite as much time. I'm able to get paperwork done multiple weeks in advance because I'm just kind of busting it out. And it's really because I'm not having this, almost like this rain cloud over me that's, this is going to make you be a certain way, or this is how you feel about it. And it gave me this freedom to be able to just get it done and do it. And so now that I'm doing this podcast and showing up and trying to create this platform and create this business and this online course, I'm starting to see how those old stuck thinking patterns are coming back just in a different form, not quite so debilitating. I'm still able to show up and to get this done, but it is making me hesitate. It is making me take a little bit longer just because I'm like, I want it to be perfect and I want to make sure once this goes out that nobody has anything to say about it. And there's always going to be people who have something to say about it. But really what the emotional non-attachment does, it helps me to continue to take aligned action towards my goals without hesitating, without having to have this stuck behind me constantly saying, you're not perfect, you're not doing things right, you're a bad speaker, you're terrible at this, don't even bother, which, hinders my performance, it hinders me showing up, it makes me procrastinate, it forces me to take a little bit longer getting these things out, and it really doesn't have to. So because I've done so much work around taking my stuck and reprocessing it and making sure that it doesn't, that I've become friends with my stuck. I've become aware of it and I don't let it have so much control over taking aligned action. Because I've done this in other areas of my life, it is a little bit easier for me to become aware of when I notice myself thinking my stuck patterns. But it is showing up. And so now I know the process of like how to bring awareness to it, befriend it, and not allow it to interfere with me taking aligned action. But something more recently for me, like I've talked a lot about dishes and how I feel like there was this avoidance or, not getting dishes done and allowing them to pile up. And what I've noticed is just by talking about it and bringing awareness to it, and maybe there's been some reprocessing around the emotional attachment that I have. And I think I've talked about how my core wounding, the core childhood wounding was seeing my dad have these dishes piled up in his apartment after my parents' divorce, and he wasn't taking care of himself. And so after bringing consciousness and awareness to my pattern of I'm not doing the dishes regularly, why? And even speaking about it, and I do think I've done some processing on my own to help me process that and not have such an emotional attachment to the dishes. I find myself just cleaning up and not having a problem and not procrastinating and getting it done. And so again, it's when we find that we're having this emotional attachment to something that we want, especially something like a goal that we really, really, really want, I think what happens is that emotional attachment to us makes it feel like it's not a part of us, that it's separate from us. It's this longing. It creates this emotional longing, which is rooted in lack and scarcity. And it's basically saying that it's separate from us. It's not a part of us. And really, it is a part of us, especially if it's something that we're longing to do. We're being like soul called to it. It's like, it's a part of your path. Your future self is calling to your present self to start working towards this path. And yet the emotional attachment to it is what's preventing us from taking that aligned action because we're thinking that it's outside of ourselves. And so when we really start to go within, start to just bring conscious awareness to that's like our stuck belief systems around either the goals that we want to manifest or just even the mundane tasks that we need to get done, but we feel like we're procrastinating. Just simple awareness and getting curious about, why am I feeling this avoidance? Why am I feeling like this procrastination in this task? Or what is preventing me from, like what mindset is preventing me from taking aligned action towards my goal? So again, emotional non-attachment really helps to take aligned action and to help you manifest your goals faster. It's just taking that conscious awareness as step one and getting curious about it. And then if you want to do some deeper work, that's where hopefully when I have my online course, that online course will help you to process your deeper core wounds and understand you're stuck. So if you want help with that, please go ahead and reach out. I love talking about this stuff. If this resonates with you, go ahead and give this episode a like. If you feel like this is medicine for someone else to hear, please go ahead and share it. I'm so grateful if you share it. It just means that, this is helping others who really need it most. And then if you want to get more content like this showing up for you, please go ahead and click that subscribe button. Otherwise, happy healing, and I will see you when I see you. Thanks for listening to the Unstuck Yourself Daily Dose with Brittany Bigley. The Unstuck Yourself Daily Dose is part of the Bigley community, giving you the tools and resources so that you can live the life you were born to lead.